This is, my first attempt at doing this, so please bear with me. I love talking on TikTok. I love talking on YouTube, and doing a podcast format. I thought, why not? I have a lot to say, and I have things that I think are worth saying. First, we're going to talk about frosting versus cake. And this was from a YouTube video. I don't remember the creator. And she said, a lot of you are so unhappy because you are mistaking frosting for cake. And what she meant by that is that the things we think we want are the frosting. And you're not supposed to have too much frosting. Your cake is supposed to have a solid foundation of cake and a moderate amount of frosting, but not like too much. And she said, for example, a perfectly styled aesthetic home, that is frosting. A home you can afford even when times are tough and doesn't cause you financial stress, that is cake. And we are mistaking the really solidness of what it is, again, to have a foundational life, to have a foundational career, to have meaningful relationships. I think we are expecting more frosting than cake, and that is why so many people are unhappy. Now, how does this apply to writing? Well, a lot of times we really want, let's say, something that isn't going to really satisfy us, because when we're writing books or being creative, we may think, oh, this is going to sell 10,000 copies in the first year, or, oh, I want to be a New York Times bestselling author, or whatever it is. There is this like frosting like dream, and really we should be focusing on the cake. What is it that would allow us to get there? We have to build that first. So we have to focus on cake-like stuff, building a strong foundation first. And if you are a writer, what is that? What is the cake? What is that? Strong foundations for writers is a strong foundation in your craft, taking your craft seriously, hiring people who are really smart and really good at what they do. So whether that be editing, formatting, marketing, whatever it is, surround yourself with really good people. That is foundational. That is cake. What is frosting? Having an Amazon bestseller tag next to your book, like, who cares? That's category manipulation. That's not actually going to fulfill you. That's not going to make you feel really good at the end of the day. I will tell you what feels good, and that is getting feedback from readers. Whether this is before your book is published or after your book is published, nothing like getting feedback from readers will make you feel like an amazing, amazing writer. It will remind you why you're doing it. I have adult books out, and I also have children's books out. And both times that I have received real feedback from readers, I was dumbfounded. I was like actually struck that my books had this impact on these people. I'll tell you, I was at a party, and I don't go to many parties. I'm not like a social butterfly, despite what you may see online. I am a homebody. I love to stay home. And so I went to this party in an attempt to be social. This was all pre-COVID. And there was a woman at the party, and she's like, I was introducing myself. I said, hi, my name is Lisa Furland. She's like, oh, are you Knocked Up Abroad? And I was like, yes, that's the name of I have a book series, a duology, the Knocked Up Abroad series. She's like, are you knocked up abroad? And at that time I was actively blogging and being really active on Facebook. This was when Facebook was popular, pre-TikTok, pre-COVID, pre a lot of things. And she was like, your stories saved me after my miscarriage. And I like almost started to cry. And I talked with her for the rest of the night. We developed a friendship over the years, and I'm still in touch with her today. And it was all because of my little book that I decided to put out, a collection of stories of pregnancy and miscarriage and what it is to be pregnant in a foreign country. Mind-blowing, right? So when you hear that, like, that's a moment that I can't recreate for you as a writer, but I guarantee you, if you really get your book out there and you go and interact with people who have read your book, you will have a moment like that, a similar moment. Another similar moment that I had that again, was like, oh my gosh, you know, we get so caught up in like book sales and numbers on a graph and your KDP dashboard. You forget there are like real people behind that. And when you're a children's book author, there are real children behind those numbers. There are real children in their bedrooms, living rooms, classrooms, reading those books. And I think it's very easy to forget that if you just stay in your little corner and you don't venture out into the world. I got feedback that a little boy who loved my Halloween children's book arranged his entire birthday to have his birthday centered around my book, which was like mind blowing to me. You know, he had the characters, his mom printed out the characters, they dressed up in their favorite Halloween costumes. And then each child, instead of getting candy, they got a copy of my book. So this mom went out and bought however many copies, I don't know, 10, 15 copies, and handed them out. And I was like so overjoyed to hear this. This is the kind of stuff that they don't tell you when you're writing your book, or even when you're going through the publishing, that you're going to have these types of moments that fill you with so much fulfillment and remind you why you're doing this, remind you why. Stay with the cake, because the cake is where you're going to have this foundational stuff, this amazing stuff. These are moments that it's like bits of frosting, and we can't guarantee it, but like every once in a while you get a bite. You're doing cake all the time and you get a bite of frosting. You're like, oh, that's so good. It's so good. It's so perfect. Anyway, so when you are looking at anything, look at your ratio of frosting to cake, and you will have a more fulfilling career, life, relationship in every way. All right. I have a lot of notes here because I have a lot of things I want to talk about. But really, this is all just about taking imperfect action. So whatever the next step is, even if it's not perfect, like this is not perfect. I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just trying to start. And that is why this is called PageStarter, because it's like really just start, just get it started and then start the next thing. So my goal with this podcast is to not only come with, you know, reports from the field, but also interviewing other people. What are they doing to help authors? What are other authors doing? How did they get started? What are the next steps that they are taking so that we can, you know, stay inspired, stay informed, educate each other, help each other, and support each other. So welcome to PageStarter. I'm so happy you're here. Again, I'm Lisa Furland, and I help authors crowdfund their books, but really so much more. I just love talking with authors, working with authors. I think we are changing the world one story at a time. And our creativity is needed, our words are needed, and we have such an incredible impact on people that this is definitely something that we need to continue. So here for support, motivation, inspiration, education, all that good stuff. So happy you are here.